I did some straightening up in the shop, and I'm going to attempt to get Dorkel into the workshop so I can work on him, because if I do it, wait till the weather gets comfortable out here and, you know, good enough to do any work, it's never going to get done.
I found I just got, like I said, so bad that I was just magnifying.
Okay, if you notice here.
You're welcome, Stu. Have a great day.
You too.
All right.
I lost my glasses.
We got a piece of plywood here from under the shed. I don't have anything better than this.
So I probably
Let me turn down the
refrigerator or someplace.
Stu Breyer show here. Dorkel is going to sit on this thing here. He is 39 inches tall, so he'll clear the beam up there by several inches. And his body will be like across here. He's 12 inches deep, and from hand to hand he's 22 inches or 23 inches wide. So he'll fit right in here, and it's not going to be as convenient to work on him here, and his arm is going to go up when I'm working on it, and I may not be able to operate that fully, but I can do the wiring on him, and I'm going to do that very shortly here. Over here I got my power supply put back together, and I put a meter on it again. It's 13.81 volts with the crowbar SCR disconnected, so this power supply is working very good, and I'm going to put that external circuit on that Jim Asbell drew up for me, and add it to the outside of it in the event that I ever get a radio and I want to protect it in case the voltage goes up. Okay, we'll come back in a little while. I'm going to go get Dorkel and bring him in here, and maybe I can get him hooked up. I have a revised schematic from Jim, and basically it's the same schematic except it draws out the common circuit of the flipper, and the A, B, and C, and where to make the connections. So that will help me a lot. I was going to experiment with that anyways, but it was getting too cold yesterday outside, and you know, when you're trying to keep warm and you just can't get your brain working when you're not comfortable. So we're going to get Dorkel out here on the table here, so stay tuned. Okay, I'm going to go get Dorkel.
What the hell are you doing, you no good son of a bee?
I'm trying to get you in here so I can work on you.
You dirty. You chopped my arms down. You did everything against. Try to kill me. Ah, shut up. Ugh.
Well, this is not going to be easy working on him in here. I can't get the camera back far enough to get you a good view. Let me try to do that, see if I can get it back a little bit more, but the problem is I got nothing to put the camera on except on top of the power supply over here, so let's try doing that. Well, this is not going to be easy, and I knew it wouldn't be, because I just don't have enough bench space, and I don't have any other pieces of plywood that are large enough. This is the largest piece I got. There's no more bargain wood at Home Depot. It hasn't been for over a year now. Let me see if I can turn him around. Well, I could work with him this way, as long as this plywood doesn't fall topple over. Of course, I need more light in here. As you can see, not a very good arrangement, but if I'm careful, I should be okay. And to test his arm out, I can do it on a limited basis here before it hits something up here. And it's the best I can do, because the weather is just not going to cooperate. And if I don't do it here in the shop, it'll never get done. So I got the revised schematic that Jim sent me. It's basically the same circuit, except that he marked out A, B, and C as to which connections are which. So that'll make it a lot easier. Now, I was going to experiment with this anyways. It's just that I couldn't keep my mind on my work because I'm trying to keep warm, you know. It wouldn't be so bad. It was like 60 degrees or a little bit less out there. And as I said in the past, I can always work in cooler weather than hotter weather. But when you got no sun at all, you just can't get warmed up, and it's just cloudy. As a matter of fact, I haven't used the lawnmower in about a month and a half. All we're getting is rain and no sun, virtually no sun, just a few hours of sun, and that's it. So the grass is just not growing. The only things that are growing are mushrooms. Well, anyways, let's get to work on this. Try to get you up on the tripod here, and hopefully you can see me working on this. Yeah, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see, but let's give it a try. Okay, I have no idea if I'm in view on the camera, because I got this on a tripod way in the corner of the workshop, almost up against the resistor drawers, and I can't get it back anymore, so I can't read the viewfinder behind that. I could use the Sony SR12, but I would not be able to edit it. So otherwise I could flip out the viewfinder and that would work quite well. Now, because I got this wood over my drawer where I get all my screwdrivers and stuff, I have to work with the tools that I've got over here and in my toolbox on the floor. So the first thing I want to do is to take out the relay board. Well, this is a handy light here I got. I got this at Home Depot last year. I think it was around Christmas time. That's when they have all those specials. You know, the best working conditions are when you got a nice sunny day and you got natural daylight. Everything seems to be easier to see. You know, when you're working with lights, you got a lot of shadows and stuff, and it's, with my eyesight, it's difficult. But we'll get it done. Oh, screw fell out. So we gotta hunt that down. Alright, not gonna worry about it. Let's get this mount trigger wire out of the way here, because it's always in my way here, and right now we're not going to deal with that now. We got to work on the rest of the circuit. Let's turn this off. Put this over here. I hope you can see all right in here. Might be able to get a little light from this thing. Yeah, the problem is my bench light is directly over the bench, So I'm on the dark side of it, as always. But I think we can manage this okay. Now, according to the schematic, the normally closed positions are C. And that is where the negative or the common is connected. So in other words, I got to bring up two black wires to C. And they both go to a common negative, which would be electrically connected to the battery terminal negative, because that's the common for the whole Dorcal wiring. And right at this time, A is 12 volts. That's just the way I wired it, because on relay A, which is the head motor, relay B, the other direction of the head motor, the A's on both of those relays go to positive. That's where the positive circuit is connected. That's the supply. And B is the head motor relay coils. So under those two relays, that's the way they are hooked up. So we're not going to disturb those. We don't need to. A is positive 12 volts. That is your supply. So I don't have to move those at all. I can leave them right there on both of them. A on each one of these relays is 12 volts. So that can stay right there. The flipper is B. Okay? The flipper is B, or the common contact. On the flipper, which is B, the motor wires go across. So that would be these two wires right here. Now, before we do anything with these wires here, and I won't do them on camera because the video will be about 2 hours long, is I gotta put connectors on this and bring this or solder a fuse holder and put an inline fuse or a fuse of some sort on the motor. I thought this relay board had a fuse in it. I guess it don't. No, it don't. I wouldn't depend on that anyways. No, the relay board does not have a fuse. If it does, I don't see one. The wireless relay board. I don't know if you can even see that on the camera. So we don't have to disturb the positive wires whatsoever. This one's the eyes. That's not connected at all, which we're not going to worry about at this time. So all right. Let me stop this video at this time because we're going to do some wiring And I don't want to do it on camera because it's way too long. It takes me too long to do things. We'll come back when I get it done. And temporarily, we're going to hook this up with a fuse in here, temporarily with clip leads, so I can test it out. I don't want anything to short out and damage the relays on this board here or anything else, because I want the arm motor to have its own fuse. And I think probably an 8 or a 10 amp fuse would probably be good. I can measure the current on that, I'm sure. Here is a closer look at Jim's revised circuit. As you can see, that's a MOV across the motor, which is right now not on there. So he simply changed some of the locations, you know, like we're using channel C and D now, relay C and D. We've got the negative, which is all the way to the right, the main power supply, going to the normally closed, which is C. He put a little C there, okay? The positive, if you look here, is going, I got to use this so I can see, to normally open A on both of these. And the flipper, which is the common relay point, the flipper, is B. So your motor goes directly across B. So this is a reversing circuit, of course, in case you did not know, in case some of you latecomers may not know what this circuit is. So Jim got down here, channel C and D normal, motor does not run. Channel C operates motor one way. Channel D operates the motor the other way. If both channel C and D operate, motor does not run. So we don't have a problem if you accidentally push both buttons at the same time. Or sometimes there could be a delay in the circuit, and one could still be energized at a fraction of a second after you release it. So we're covered there. So if you look at this, it makes a lot of sense. So that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to take the positive, which is already connected to A, over here. Okay? I've already got relay D and C. As I said, it's backwards, which is going to be the arm motor. Relay D, relay C, the first two on the left. A has positive going in it. That's the way I've had it hooked up before. So it's just coincidental that I don't have to change that. So the only thing I have to do is add the motor to B, which is the flipper terminals. One wire from the motor goes to relay C, and the other one goes to relay D on terminal B. Terminal B is the flipper. Terminal B, of course, is the second one from the left. So that's where the motor goes, in there and over here. It should be easy enough to do. And we're going to do all this off camera. And of course, terminal C is the common negative. So we've got to pull a common negative wire from here. Okay, so we've got our negatives. If you can look up here, they're all brought in and taped together. Your negatives and your positives. Like I said before, I've only got black and red to work with. And white. So all your blacks here, unless otherwise noted, sometimes blacks can be used for switches too, are negative. So we pull in and insert a negative in each screw. Now I have to use separate wires like I did here. So in other words, the negative would go in C, a separate wire going in here, and a negative would go into C of this relay. I can't put two black wires, in other words, to make a jump of going from here to here, because those holes will only accept one 18 gauge wire, which is what this is. You cannot twist them together and shove them in there. I tried it before. That's why every wire is individual here. That's why I did it this way, because this will not accept two 18 gauge wires. It's not designed to handle that size wire. All I can do to get an 18 gauge stranded, twisted really tight to go into these holes. We'll do all this off camera, as I said. Okay, about a half hour later, took all this while just to get this on there. This, all I have is green. I have green, I have red, and black and white. So these are, according to the wire strippers, these are 18 gauge, so maybe this stuff is 16 gauge, I don't know. But anyways, I had a heck of a time getting that in there too. But anyways, this is, these are the B. So that's the flipper. So that's why they're both the same color. So this is going to be connected temporarily to this with a fuse in there, and then I'm ready to try it out and put a battery in here and try it out. So let's go do that. I'll be right back. I already tried it. It works. C and D. Arm up and down. And get your back far enough you can see the arm is way over there, but I can't go up too high because it hits the shelf. The battery's a little low. This is the one I got in the shed, in the shop here. It needs to be charged. So, yes, Jim's circuit worked quite well. What we've got here is a 7 amp fuse in series with the motor, for the arm motor. I don't know what the current draw is on that. I am going to check that. But I got to get a full charge on that battery first. So she's working very well. So this fuse here is going to, either this one or another one, will be mounted on the inside and be labeled arm motor. And it'll probably be put up in this area here. I think I got a little piece of plywood here. I can mount this fuse here, and I'll solder these wires onto the fuse holder here and just put it in there and label it. And I'm going to measure the current so I can find out what the motor actually draws when it's stalled. And that should be easy enough to do. Alright, this is the head left and right. That just happens to be left, because as it's his left. Okay. Arm, C and D. Yeah, I can tell that the battery's low, but it's working quite well. So that's it. We're going to put all this back together for now. But before I'm going to leave Dorkel in the shop here because I have no other work on the bench right now. And I want to get the mount solenoid hooked up. And I also want to get the MOV across that arm motor. Here is a wedge bulb. I think it's a 194 or 174. I got it out of an old soldering gun that I junked. It's a 12-volt bulb. Now Jim Asbell says that this would work across the arm motor in place of an MOV, but he's sending me an MOV because the MOVs I've got here that I've been sending to people are 440 volt MOVs. One of them is, there's two different kinds, and the other one is, I don't know what it is. It's got a number on it, but I don't know what they're rated for. So this would work, and it could be across there too, and it acts as a suppressor. So I could probably put that across, but not under here because they won't fit here. I had all I can do to get these wires in, even this. This is 18 gauge, there's green wire. So I had all I can do to get that in too. So I'm telling you, there's not much room to get wires in these things at all. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hook up off camera a jack on the back of this somewhere in here, or maybe down on the bottom here, for the mouth push button, which is going to be on a long thin wire. Now there again, the mouth is run, of course, through the Gordo's board, which is up here in the back. So it doesn't require much current. The Gordo's board, come to think of it, has an MOV in there, Jim, when he built that. So I don't need an MOV for the head motor. I mean, for the mouth trigger. I'm sorry, mouth trigger. I don't need an MOV here. I just thought. It's on the Gordo's board. So all I need to worry about is MOV on the arm motor and the head motor. All right, so off camera I'm going to hook up this, put a jack on it. This is the push button that goes to the Gordo's board for the mouth. I'm going to hook that up, shorten this, put a jack out here so I can plug in a long thin wire to operate the mouth trigger. And in the future, if I ever get it to work with audio, I can always modify that circuit. So let's get all this stuff hooked up in here. We'll do that off camera. I may or may not come back on this video. It'll probably be another video. As a matter of fact, it will be, because this is getting too long. Yes, I think it's time for some lunch. They may say 20 amps, but I don't buy that. I find it hard to believe that they're even 10 amps because they're so tiny. You need a lot of surface area for a contact in order to be rated for high current like that. Okay, that's it for today. Well, Dorkel is a little warmer now because we got this small electric heater going in the shop. He will stay in the shop until I get all the electrical stuff done. I don't have any other things on the bench that I need to do right now. I do have to work on the S86 because it's loaded with static. But the last time it was loaded with static and I put it on the bench, it was playing perfectly. And then I put it back in here again, it played perfectly for months. And then it's starting to be all static. Behaves like silver mica disease. But Ron C. in Florida had said that it might be a cracked ceramic cap. That could be, but it doesn't seem to do that when I get it on the bench. And when I put it back in place over here, it seems to play for a while. And matter of fact, it played for a very long time. And then it's loaded with static. So that's going to be a project that has to go on the bench. And when it does, I'm going to have to leave it on the bench until I can find out what the problem is. Okay, I bored you enough. Weather is not with me today. But at least I got Dorkel in here and I'm able to do something with him. And I can leave him here until he is finally wired up. Maybe I can dress him up and get him ready for Halloween, if we don't get a damn snowstorm by then. Remember, 2 seasons. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, everybody.
What the hell are you doing, you no good son of a bee?
I'm trying to get you in here so I can work on you.
You dirty! You chopped my arms down? You did everything against... Try to kill me! Ah, shut up! Ugh.